Hello everyone and welcome back to Satisfactory. In the last episode, we were able to put some of the finishing touches here on the Turbo Factory, making our building look a lot prettier, and as well as being able to observe most of the stuff that goes on here. We even added in the train station for future-proofing. We will most definitely need that train station in the very near future. But in this episode, we have to decide on where our main base is going to be, where we're going to put it, where it's going to be located, and how big we're going to make that sucker. Are we going to go modular? Are we going to make all those space elevator parts there? That is truly undetermined at this point. So if that is something that you're into, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and let's jump in to Satisfactory. Now, to be honest with you, I thought long and hard about where to put the Mega Factory. I thought the Mega Base should be in somewhere a central location, maybe somewhere where there's lots of resources. But then I thought to myself, I don't need it to make a ton of parts. I just needed to make one of every part. And this is one of the locations that I considered heavily. The reason is there's a water supply right here, and we could build a giant base in this whole area. It's not completely level, but that's okay because it goes down and out, and I know my main train network is probably gonna come through this area somewhere. This is a good spot right here to go up and down. It's a great place for trucks and everything like that. It's a natural road in the game. So coming up this way and getting into the big Mega Base area that would soon be here seemed like a very good spot. It also has an abundance of resources, plenty of copper, plenty of iron, plenty of other things, with normal nodes very close and plenty of them. The same thing for copper. Again, I just need a little bit. 2 normal nodes is more than enough than we need for what we got here. There's also a normal Caterium node here as well as a normal Caterium node here. It's a very good spot. The only thing it's really lacking, well, coal. Coal is kind of far away. It's a little bit rough to get all of this belted all the way to this particular area, and we do need coal to do a lot of the things that we're about to do with steel and other things. Aluminum needs coal. It's just kind of far away, and it was the one downside to this. The one upside would be is that I would probably build right on top of this, and nitrogen gas, that's a good thing to have real close. It's kind of a pure source in a lot of places. It puts out a lot of nitrogen gas. It even has a decent amount of SAM ore around here. Some are pure, some are impure. That's a lot of SAM ore. We can convert things to what we want with the new converter in the game. I haven't played with it at all because we haven't unlocked the technology, but I think that this would be a very good spot. This was definitely high on the list as far as places to consider building the Mega Base. Now still, one of the most highly contested best spots in the game to start at is right here in between the Spire Coast and the deserty area and forest biome. It's great for at the beginning when you're using all that forest to make all your fuel and power, and then moving on to oil isn't too big of a problem. You have the entire Spire Coast, the Spire Coast basically being an oil machine over there. That's pretty much what that biome is made for. And it was highly considered for the Mega Base because of the fact that it has pure iron just laying out here, waiting to be harvested. 4 nodes of iron, there's a copper right over there, limestone here, coal over there. The problem is that they took away the quartz nodes. There used to be 2 quartz nodes right here on the edge, and it made this an amazing spot to build a large base. But without that quartz, it kind of puts a damper on things. I don't know how far away the SAM ore is, but we can find out real quick. Well, it's pretty far away. The SAM ore would be another kind of problem. We definitely want the SAM ore, and having them this far away That's not going to help us in our endeavors. This pretty much is the reason this spot, for me, was a no-go. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely beautiful, and still a good place to make a factory. But as far as the mega base side of things goes, it's just not mega base worthy anymore. And I know because I built one right here in a previous playthrough that I did on my own. Yeah, that sucker was enormous too. It pretty much spanned across the entirety of this thing. I tried to bring all of the resources to one location. Didn't really work out that well. Now this spot right here, oh my gosh, it has everything you could ever want. It's got lots of resources, mostly pure, and we could use the current infrastructure that we already have set up. It's not bad, it's a great spot. There's pure iron, pure copper, and some impure as well. Lots of limestone, some pure, some normal, but plenty of it. There's pure quartz back here in that classic cave that I believe everybody's probably gone for. There's a pure caterium node here, as well as the one we've already established if we needed more, and more coal than you could ever want. Impure, pures, normal nodes, it's great. A good location for all that. And even though we can't scan for it right now, I'm very certain that there is some bauxite right up on top of this and in the red forest. So getting that across and into here is not too much of a problem. Now, why would you never build here? Well, I just don't like the view. I feel like our mega base needs to be something that you can have a little bit of a perspective all the way around. I just want to have something to look at, and this just doesn't tickle that fancy. I mean, looking out over the ocean, I guess for some people, that's cool, but I'm more of a woods guy. I like a good forest, so it was highly considered, and I really did believe I was going to build it here. I even kind of mapped out how I would make it look good with all of this terrain here, maybe do 2 or 3 modular buildings that feed onto each other. But ultimately I decided, this ain't it, Chief. But ultimately, I wanted something that would stretch my creativity, and I think I found the place. Right here in this pit. Plenty of water, very nice atmosphere, lots of trees, and also protected by some pillars here. Some pillars I think we could use to our advantage. It also has a couple inlets right here that could be used for trains and other things. It goes back up around that way off that waterfall and goes around and into where the quartz area is over there. And it has all the bauxite not too far away. It's gonna be a little bit of a stretch for the bauxite and the oil, but there is a pure sulfur node right here, which would be not too much of a stretch to get down to make a giant weapons factory inside. And I'm pretty sure I found somewhere around here during my exploration a nitrogen gas vent somewhere up in these hills. And gases, it don't matter, you just pipe it wherever you want. It fills the pipe and it goes. So between the nitrogen and everything else, I think this is a pretty good spot. I believe that the one thing that we have to worry about is the SAM. SAM is kind of not friendly in this area. There are 2 nodes that are close. It would be kind of a trek to get this one that we've already claimed over here, but we do have some infrastructure. You know what? Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to do a monologue. There, as I was saying. So the one we already have claimed has infrastructure built in, so it wouldn't be too difficult, I think, to get it over here. This one over here, I'm sure, is on top of all of this stuff, and we'd probably not have too much of a problem getting that over and into this area as well. We would be able to come right off the top of all of these and down into this area. So with it kind of decided what our starting location will be, it's just about clearing some of the wildlife, taking down some of the trees, trying to keep as many as we can, and then figuring out how we're going to put this sucker in here. We might give it some character, we might just go straight up, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll try to figure it out as we go. How many floors and how tall it's going to be? Well, that's for future Addo to figure out. Present Addo, he just needs to take care of some things. Death from above. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's some riffraff in here as well we need to manage. Yeah. Spooters. I hate spooters. The pitter-patter of their little feet, it just makes my skin crawl. Hey, a Mercer Sphere. Hey, I just moved in. I brought you a gift. I know you're just dying to see what my gift is. Well, come over here, and I'll show you. So now with most of the local wildlife dealt with, it's just time to take care of some plant life. Now, my plan is to keep the majority of any plants that we cut down. We could use this biomass for a lot of different things. And we'll probably make some biofuel as well. That stuff comes in real handy when you're building. But I gotta be honest with you. This is probably gonna take a while because we're cutting down every bush, every tree, everything that we can get our hands on. So excuse me while I deforest this area. Alright, so with all of the clearing done, now we have to decide on how exactly we want to build this thing. And seeing as how this is our most narrow spot, I kind of want to consider this when building. We need to be high enough that we can get a train through here, and we need the train tracks to be a minimum of 3 apart. 4 would be better, but 3 apart would be a much more comfortable range to do. So we could come right off of here and just build a thing across and call it good, but I think also I want to make sure that we're at a level with the water that makes sense as well, which may bring us higher. And what I mean by that is I want to come down here and be able to put all of my water stuff and still be able to walk on top of it. Now to do that, it's going to be somewhere in the range of about, I don't know, here we'll say. So we just need to find a height that matches here that lines up with this. That might be a little bit difficult, but I'm sure we can figure something out. Now I know that most items in the game will deal best when it's 8 meters tall. Refineries and things of that nature will fit in a room that's about this size. I did some measuring in the background and I found that an 8 tile high foundation stacked on each other, they tend to not allow any kind of clipping. It is literally a breath between it, but that's more than enough. Yeah, we'll have some steam coming through and it'll look kind of funny, but it'll add to the atmosphere that's gonna be in this thing. And we're all about the atmosphere. Now, I don't think we need to go this high to begin with on all of this, because this is just going to be full of water production. That's it. Nothing more than water getting pumped up. But subsequent floors as we go up will have to be at least 8 bricks tall. That's going to be a lot. So that's kind of what I'm considering as I'm deciding what exactly we're going to do to get this, that, everything lined up. Alright, so it took some finagling, but I think I finally figured out what my height and my center point should be. I think this is the best I can possibly get. It kind of covers up that little bit of terrain there, and it gives us a way more reasonable amount of tiles to bring trains in here. Just considering what we have here is a half and 1, 2, and another half, I'm pretty sure the trains should be able to pass through here without too much clipping or any at all. I think that made us somewhere around like 28 or 29 tiles high. Yeah, if you consider the top of that one. But 28 meters tall is pretty tall. We would have enough room to put a water extractor down and then some if we needed to. We could probably add another logistics floor on this somewhere. I don't know, maybe trains or I don't know. And I made a really cool entrance here using the curved half pipes. I don't know. Tell me what you think about it. It'll be kind of epic going down in here. I don't think we'll have any beeps going this way, but if we do, we can always just move this back. We can use half foundations if we need to give this thing a little bit bigger of an arc. But from here, it's just placing down the first blueprint and rolling with it. Now, the big thing I'm going to really pay attention to is make sure that we're not clipping into the rock face too far. I don't want to have like tiles that are stuck inside the terrain here that I can't get to. So this one looks like it does pretty good. Now, after that, we can just switch into our blueprint mode and let her rip. I did walk over to the old biome where the turbo fuel factory was and gathered up all of the concrete that we had over there. And I brought it all over. I hope that that is enough concrete to do everything that we need to do. I don't think the dimensional storage is going to keep up with me. So every time I run out of concrete, I'll just go down there and destroy another container and call it good. But filling all this in, it's going to take a minute. And I'm sure you don't want to see me doing this. There we go. All of the floor filled in. And it's fairly square. There's a few indentations that go up. We might make it more square as we go up. We do have a few more trees to rid ourselves of. And I made this really cool path over here to make sure that we have an ability to get over here smoothly. Now, we'll probably curve this sucker back in and over, but that's kind of later that we'll do that. I'm probably not going to get to that in this episode. But I also went ahead and took out the liberty of laying out a few floors. Now, this is a lot, and I'm going to tell you what, I don't know if we'll use all these floors, but I want to just lay it out so that I can kind of have an idea of where we're going to be. Now, the next big thing would be we need to pretty much build all of the corners. Wherever the corners are going to be, that's where I want to kind of build my floors out to. Now, the whole outside walls will be pretty much these 4x4 foundations, and we'll just send them straight up. Some of these places will be indented a little bit because of the fact of the natural terrain here. There are a few things that I want to keep. So, as a for instance, that right there is kind of as far this way as I'm going to go. I have to come out one and then go that way. Same thing kind of goes here. I want to know about how far in I'm going to have to come to miss that cliff. I don't want that cliff inside the building. I don't really think that will fit the aesthetic of kind of what we're going for. So really, it looks like this kind of needs to come to here maybe, and then go up, but I don't know. These pillars are pretty much what we're going to use to decide where the inside of our building is. And I'll have to probably play around with them and figure out exactly where I want them. That could take some time. We may even, I don't know, have the bottom be bigger so we could come out to here up to that point. I don't know. We'll play around with it and see what we see. But for the most part, I want to keep a little bit of space here and there because I want to try. I don't know how good it'll be, but I would like to try and actually design something on the outside of this. This part of the building is basically going to face the parts that we see the most, and I want to make it look cool. The backside will be hidden by the cliffs, but we'll still need to be able to design it a little bit. We probably won't be on this side of it as much as we'll be looking at the base from here. Besides, I'm pretty sure that the hypertube cannons and everything else is going to be on the top floor, and it's going to be facing that direction, shooting us wherever we need to go on the map. So, once again, this is just more concrete and more floors and more concrete and more floors, and we'll probably even use the double ramps here to make some makeshift scaffolding wherever we need it. It's just kind of one of those things. The design process of things are where I lack the most skills. I know it's terrible, and I know it's not really cool. But like I said at the beginning of all of this, big box with trim. Hey, look, it's the old starter base. Yeah, and the old coal-fired power plant. Oh, man, we're way up here. It is a complete disaster right now. But we're getting somewhere. We have all the main poles and everything all figured out. And I do think I'm going to indent in some places. I might even put a little lizard doggo ranch up here. We'll fence it in with the new, fencing stuff and make some kind of critter ranch over on this side. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it somewhere else. Who knows? But for the most part, this is kind of the shape of the building. We may have to fix some things because this is a zigzaggy mess and I really don't like that. We may bring this out and kind of square it off a bit. It's kind of what I was playing with down here. Bringing this up, squaring it here. I don't know, maybe squaring this one off as well. I haven't quite decided. I think that's a future Addo problem. Yeah, definitely a future Addo problem. But man, oh man, we still have quite a bit to do and the entirety of this floor. When looking at it from kind of this angle, you realize how much space this is. It is a ridiculous amount of space. I think I may have overdone it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah. Oh boy. All right. And with that, the entirety of the top floor is done and bricked in. Now, I'm almost certain that this will change. I kind of already see that I want to bring this part out a little bit farther, as well as this corner over here to even it out. The main reason is I kind of just want this to be a little bit more square, more even, less in and outs. It doesn't really make sense to do it. So, I don't know. I will play around with that in the background, but for the most part for now, it's done. And this is where our main storage is going to be. And I've already been playing around with some ideas of how to make this look neat. I'm not quite satisfied with what I've got going on here, but we'll have a basic idea. Basically, it's pillars, and since you can place and hold things, it makes things a lot easier to put things where you want it. I have the signs connected to the beam connectors here just to kind of give it a little bit more finished look. I'm thinking about putting a beam across the bottom here to kind of really box this in. If I could get it to where I don't see any of the container except for what I want to see, that would be exactly what I want. So basically something like this, but repeated over and over again, all the way down. Yeah, that's something I'm thinking about. And then I want to change the floor as well. I want some kind of different type of floor, but I want it to be centered because we'll have these containers on each side. So the first thing we could do is lay in a bunch of these catwalk intersections here. And that way it gives us that half block without having to put a half foundation down. And it adds to the kind of whole metal theme we've got going on here. In the middle though, I don't know. We have all these basic floors. I don't really think I want any of these kind of floors. I mean, metal grip would look kind of okay. But again, we're doing a lot of metal on metal on metal. I want something different. That's just too much metal. It's going to clank and do things I don't want it to do. But these glass foundation floors, now that's something I might be able to get behind. I don't know if I would rather have it going this way or that. I think I would probably prefer it to be straight as it goes straight through here. As far as the underneath side of this, well, I don't want to look down into the factory. I think that would be kind of unsightly. We'll probably have a logistics floor underneath this, bringing up all the items up to the bins. So that probably means we need to design something underneath here. Makes sense. So what if we went ahead and put like a foundation here and maybe did a ramp that goes like so, and then try to do the same thing over here. Add that here. You can put the foundation back on top of it. And it gives this cool kind of indented look. Two of these foundations kind of blending into each other. You know what though? I think we can take this a step further. If we went into the signs and did something that I'm not really used to doing and put in some kind of lights. Yeah, we could probably do the old light trick, which would be to take off the icon, select our favorite color. We'll try to keep this a little bit on brand. Copy that one over to the second one. Do with the mission strength 3 and glossy. Copy the settings of this one, bring it over to that one. And we will have some walking lights. Now, I don't know if that'll shine through. I don't think it actually will. So this will have to drop down just a little bit. Okay. But we got something cooking here. Okay, that doesn't look too half bad. I think it'll definitely look pretty good. Now, I boxed ourselves in so that we could kind of see this going on. But, yeah, that's not bad. We'll have to fix the crossbar looking thing there, but I'm really okay with this. That's not too shabby. I think a little bit more work and it would probably look pretty good. But how often are we going to have this thing at night? I mean, really, honestly, I mean, I want to live in daytime. Less spiders and more happy thoughts. Much better. But we have a basic idea, and I think that's pretty much going to be it. We're just going to build a building over the top of it and do the storage. I think it's going to be pretty big. Now, as far as the rest of the floors, this is kind of what I'm thinking. Storage and my stuff. That's going to be the top floor here. Underneath that, we might do the hyper cannons, but they could be on this top floor as well. If we need to, we can just continue to build up. More better. As far as 2 floors down, I think the space elevator parts will create most of those here on site. I think that would be a good place for those. I don't know what this will be. It'll probably be the stuff that we need to make the space elevator parts. Then we'll have production for our materials, all of our basic stuff. Then the basics in smelting and the chew and the beep. Because you gotta have chew and beep. But for now, I think I'm just gonna work on the storage and how it's going to look. So we'll go ahead and pop that in right now. Oh, baby. This thing, I'm gonna be honest, right now, I am so proud of this. This is probably one of the coolest things that I've made in this game. And it's not just a box with trim. It actually has character. It looks like an airplane hangar. It is super cool. Ah, man, I'm really, really pleased with this. And I don't know, I hope you guys are too. But this is a pretty big storage spot. I don't know how many exactly things that we need, but it is going to be epic. I mean, epic. And the floor, oh my gosh, it turned out awesomely. We went with the coated concrete. That way we could give it a little bit more pop and shine. And I clipped in some of the street lights and put them on a light controller so we get this purple hue when we look everywhere. Oh man, it is so cool. Exactly what I wanted to see. All of the bins have a marking above them. Whatever we want to put in there, we can just change the icon and we can make it, you know, iron rods or plates or that fixonium stuff that is way later tech that we'll get to someday. I'm sure. Oh man, but this is amazing. I love the vaulted ceilings, the purpley lights. It's super cool. I left it open for now, but I may add a door in here. Haven't quite decided on that one. And we have our space to add our door here, and it opens up to the rest of whatever it is that we're going to build next. Now, this building on the backside, it might change. We may have to transition this into the next building. And how we do that, I have no idea. But I even left myself an opening here so I could see the back end of our storage. And a ladder that goes up in case we want to fix anything with our lighting. This is where our lighting system is. Yeah, that intensity, it's ridiculous. 10 gives me the lighting all that I need. All the lighting that I need. But overall, this will be great. We can see the back of the storage. We can do things. We can't add to it. I tried to figure out a way to make the roof look and make sense with another box on top of it, but I don't know. Our dimensional storage will take care of the majority of what we need while we're building. But, you know, as it took about 3 containers worth of concrete so far to build what I have, that's pretty much where I'm at. So, what's next? Well, we need to have a space that we can play around in. And that space is going to have to be back here. I'm thinking about putting the blueprinter on this side and having a giant room back here of just things that we can use to test or house some stuff. I don't know, kind of like our workspace. Now, granted, we still have tons of floor space back here to do whatever it is that we want. And like I was saying before, I may very well square this off even more and make this edge match up to this edge. And then over here, kind of do the same thing. Build this out and match that square up. 2 giant squares. Just because this doesn't really sit on the center of this, I centered it as best as I could. It was an even amount of space, and I didn't want it to be crazy off, which is why this is right down the middle. But at the other building, we'll just make it like a transition building. Transitioning into this space if we need it for whatever. We may very well do the space elevator parts up here. But now it's gonna be just a big building. So I'm gonna work on this for a little bit and I'm gonna try to figure out what is going to be back here. Yep, it's a big tall building. It is a big tall building back there. And what could possibly be in there? Well, wait until you see. Power augmentation. Oh gosh. Oh, this took forever. And I was building this whole thing and I was thinking to myself, what am I going to put in here? This is so much space. What am I possibly going to put in here? And then I realized I can fit 3 of these suckers in here. 3 of them. Holy cow. It looks so epic. And I was able to get the catwalks to perfectly match up. That way we walk directly onto the power augmenters. All hail the power of the sloop. Yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm good. Whew. But yeah, it is an epic room. And this is where I decided to put the blueprint maker for now. Now, the Mark III will come along, I'm sure, later. But I don't really need anything bigger than the Mark II right now. And yeah, we have power lines that chase the perimeter here. And that'll become more apparent later. Much later. But for now, oh man, this is awesome. Now, the augmenters are centered in this room. They're not really centered as a whole because I wanted to make sure that you could see the augmenter through the windows and they were centered in these windows. Yeah, doesn't that look cool? Oh man, I could not be more proud of this build right here. I know it seems like I'm swooning over myself, But seriously, this thing looks epic. And I can't wait to start feeding them some things to get more power augmentation. But I know the burning question is, with it hooked up to our power, and our power was at a 54,000 megawatts before, what could it possibly be now? 68, 67, the power boost is 19,000. Oh, the power boost is above our max consumption. Just the power boost alone. It's like we don't even need our generators. Ugh, boy. It gets up to 72 in some spots. That is amazing. Amazing. Oh, mercy. This thing is so much fun to build. It was so much fun to build, and it's just the beginning. Now we just need to figure out how we're going to fill in all of our boxes here and what we're going to put in them. But I got to be honest with you, this alone, with building the floors and everything like that, it literally took the majority of my week. So this episode, I know, is going to be a little short. But in the next episode, we will definitely be filling up those floors below us. There is lots to do down there, and still, we only got storage and my stuff done. Hypertube cannon, space elevator parts, production, basics, chew and beep. Oh my gosh, there is still so much more to do on just this alone. We have to go and gather up all the materials, and honestly, we probably need to send our next space elevator parts. I forgot that that's the whole purpose, is to finish project assembly. Ugh, man, we are really going to be cooking with gas as soon as we get all of the Mark III miners up and running and things of that nature. Oh boy. But before we get to all that stuff, we're probably going to have to go tackle some things in the Red Forest, because if we're going for the next space elevator parts, it means that we can do Mark V belts. Mark V belts, they need the aluminum. And bauxite lives in the Red Forest. There's some places outside of it that we can go and try to get some for some basic production. But I really think that the Red Forest is going to have to be something we look at in the very near future. But for now, we're just going to worry about our storage. All the stuff that we need to build the machines that we're about to build. So if you did enjoy what you saw today, think about leaving a comment down below. Tell me what your favorite spot is to build in this game. Is the modular design better, or is one giant mega factory the best design? If you're looking for ways to reach out or get in contact with me, check out the links in the description. But as always, the best way to support is to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can be alerted of any time any Satisfactory or any other content gets uploaded to the page. Click one of the buttons on the screen right now to see what else we've played, and don't forget to keep gaming for the love of games. Bye now.